when Naomi hears Ruth's story, it's interesting to see what she says. She says, sit still, right? Why does she say sit still? Because she says, for the man will not be in rest until he have finished the thing this day. Ruth goes home with a gift in the morning. Naomi sees the gift and she says, aha, you can just sit still and you understand that there's nothing more for you to do. Now this word rest, she says, for the man will not be in rest. This word rest, another word altogether. It means that he won't be able to sleep. Naomi is saying here that Boaz, now that his love has been declared to Ruth, will be determined that every legal issue is resolved as soon as possible. He will be determined that this matter of redemption is cleared up. He would not sleep. Indeed, he wouldn't be able to sleep. He would not procrastinate. He wouldn't put it off. He would urgently address the matter and have it all cut and dried before he would relax. And so Naomi is actually saying to Ruth, you can relax. It's clear that Boaz has fallen in love with you. The rest that I have longed for you is now assured. This rest that I've wanted you to be able to permanently enter into is assured. You have his gift to assure you of it. He's given you the earnest of his love, this special gift. No matter what is required to be done, you can confidently leave it to Boaz. He won't be able to rest until he knows that you are rightfully his. He will do all that is needed for your redemption. His love will drive it to him, and it will now come to you as a free gift. And Naomi understood perfectly what the situation was. And of course, Naomi realised something else. Not only would Ruth be the beneficiary of Elimelech's inheritance, which is what Boaz would be protecting and making hers again, because that's what he would do. He would marry her, and so Elimelech's inheritance would be hers again, but it was small. She would also be the beneficiary of Boaz's wealth and inheritance, which was large. Remember, Boaz in and of himself was a mighty man of wealth, and so Ruth would be the beneficiary of that as well. So is Naomi right? Well, she certainly is right. Boaz goes to the gate of the city. This is interesting, we'll just read it. Then went Boaz up to the gate of the city and sat him down there. Now, he went there early in the morning, right? He's early so that he can catch the kinsman that is nearer than him. And all the people are going out of the city. Now, what are they going out for? Well, they're going out to work. So it's very early in the morning. They get up at daybreak or even before daybreak. They have breakfast, something to eat, and then they go out into the field and they start work when the sun comes up. And so Boaz went to the gate and sat him down there. Now, this tells us something about Boaz. He is really, really eager to make sure this gets done now, straight away. So he's there right at daybreak, at the beginning of the day. So early, in fact, that he's before everyone else, and he sits down and he waits. And behold, the kinsman of Boaz, of whom Boaz spake, the one that's nearer than him, came by, unto whom Boaz said, Ho, such a one. In other words, he said, hey, my friend here, come sit with me here. Turn aside and sit down here. And he turned aside and sat down. And Boaz took 10 men of the elders of the city, according to the law, and said, sit ye down here. And they sat down. So they became the jury, if you like. They sat down, they were to adjudicate what was going to happen and to either say, yes, this is going to happen, or to say, no, this is not going to happen, but if it does happen, to make it legal. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi is come, Naomi, that is come out of the country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, or to tell thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me that I may know, for there is none other to redeem it beside thee, and I am after thee. And he said, the nearest kinsman said, I will redeem it. So Boaz takes 10 men of the elders of the city as witnesses, just as the law requires. And so the matter of Elimelech's inheritance is discussed, the redemption of it. The nearer kinsman says, yes, I'm happy to buy the land, so I'll do it. And then said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field, or when you buy that field from the hand of Naomi, you also buy it of Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon her inheritance. In other words, he said, if you do buy it, then you in fact have to marry Ruth, the Moabitess, and raise children to her, and the land will be hers, and the children will be her husband's, not yours. And he understands the implications of all this. He quickly changes his mind, as we'll see in verse 6. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar mine own inheritance. He says, you do it. Redeem thou my inheritance. Redeem thou my right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. Right. When it comes to the crunch and he realises he's going to have to marry Ruth, he says, no way am I going to do that. You can do it. I'll pass it on to you happily. Now, this was the manner in former times in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing, for to confirm all things. A man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbour, and this was a testimony in Israel. We've talked about this in the last lecture. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. Right. And Boaz said to all the elders, right, and unto all the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought all that was Elimelech's, and all that was Chilion's and Mahlon's of the hand of Naomi. Moreover, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from among his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. And all the people that were in the gate and the elders said, we are witnesses. Right. The nearest kinsman plucks off his shoe and he gives it to Boaz, and Boaz accepts it and he redeems Ruth. And Boaz unashamedly takes Ruth as his wife. Now, notice that she is his purchased possession. He has redeemed her. And it's really interesting to note that he did this. He could do it and say, yes, I'll do the duties I've got to do. But he doesn't do this. He makes it very clear that he's not just doing his duty. He's taking her as his wife, who he's going to marry because he loves her. And she becomes his purchased possession, not like a slave, but a purchased possession that he values highly. And that's why he's taken her as his person's possession. He's redeemed her. And what are the implications for Ruth? Well, she is now the beneficiary of all that is Boaz's. Everything that he owns, she's the beneficiary of. Her status is changed from being a widow to being a wife, and then we see later on to being a mother. And so her status goes up and up. She goes from poverty to riches, from being a nobody to being highly esteemed. The people say, and all the people that were in the gate, and the elders said, "We are witnesses, the Lord make the woman that is come into thine house like Rachel and like Leah, who too did build the house of Israel, and do their worthily in Ephratah, and be famous in Bethlehem. And let thy house be like the house of Pharaoh, whom Tamar bare unto Judah. Of the seed of the Lord shall she give the seed which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman." So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife. And when he went in unto her, the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And so she came from being a foreigner to being family. And we see this is just the classic love story upon which so many other love stories that have been written have been based. And it wonderfully demonstrates this matter of redemption for us, the redemption of a kinsman redeemer. When we come to the New Testament, we will see this as one more type of Christ and his redemptive work for us, because he too was our kinsman redeemer.